Alright, so we're back in the world of the first Descendant, and while I've been streaming over the last couple of days, I have seen a lot of people asking me, hey Fervor, what are you personally farming right now for different situations in the game? Obviously, as the game continues to go on, things always change, and while I do not like milking these kind of videos, we already have every creator doing it like 20 times a day. I want to give you guys one monthly update on what I'm doing to farm, just so it can make it a little bit easier for you to farm if you don't know of these things that I'm doing, or maybe even I find some new recent discovery. Anyways, don't want to waste any more time. Let's dive on into what I do to farm currently in the first Descendant. Alright, so starting things off strong, we're going to be going for my general location where I spend most of my time doing just about everything, and that location is called the block Kuiper mining location. This is in the sterile land. You can access it from Albion fairly easy, and the reason why I farm this location specifically is because it actually covers quite a few things. First off, it gives you a ton of access to experience. This isn't the premier experience location in the entire game. There's many others that do it better, but for the amount that you get, it is really good. I like to multitask on getting certain things done, and this spot does it really well. On top of that, you have access to a good amount of gold. Again, not the best amount of gold, but it will give you a general good amount of gold where you can kind of use it for mods or just upgrading, stuff like that, that I think is actually pretty valuable. On top of that, this place actually gives you some void fragments, which can be used to open up the void reactors. And usually I don't necessarily have to target farm anything right now, because I usually have about 400 or 500 kind of just laying around because I've done this mission and I've been generally getting a good amount of shards across the board. And most importantly, you get shape stabilizers and you get some relics that you can crack open that could have some good stuff. It's not like amazing, that's not the premier reason why you're coming here, but it still is something to consider. And it is a very fast mission. It doesn't take much time, especially if you come here with a group or with a couple of bunnies. This is a very fast farming mission. Every mission is fast when you're playing with a bunny, but ultimately this is what I usually go to for the general farming kind of stuff, where you're always going to be safe on getting something. For our next location, we're going to be in the defense line, and we're going to be doing the zone recon mission, defense line, Vulgus strategic outpost, and the fortress. And this is the premier location for gold. This spot needs very little introduction. This is the Valby run, and contrary to the lack of popularity in this area like from a couple of weeks ago, I know players don't really like doing things when they get nerfed, but even though in its nerf state, it is by far still the best gold location in the entire game. In terms of like raw numbers, from what I can tell, I was getting over 7 million gold per hour, which is quite a bit more than any of the other locations in the game. Again, this place got a pretty sizable nerf, mostly in things like XP and stuff like that, but from a gold farming perspective, if I really want to just slam out some gold and get like, I don't know, 7 or 8 million, I come to here for an hour with a fairly optimal build, I would like to point out, and then I would just be able to just like get as much gold as I need to like finish mods or whatever. On top of that, if the reactor is something worth a damn, this does drop a lot of reactors. It drops like random reactors too, so this is actually a pretty desirable reactor location. And on top of that, it does drop a good sizable amount of mods where I can kind of salvage it for Kuiper shards, which is again a very valuable thing to have. Next, back in the sterile lands, we're going to be in the Rockfall outpost, and we're going to specifically be targeting the anticipated ambush point. And this location is going to be ideal for a couple things, the main thing being code breakers. Now, code breakers are something I get a lot of in my comment section of, hey, what's the best location to get code breakers? And so I can crack open some volts. I recently made a pretty perfected Enzo build that you definitely should check out. It's really good. But the question comes up quite a bit, hey, where do I get precision code breakers? And this is going to be, from my experience, the best location to get it. It's a very fast mission, probably takes, I don't know, 2 minutes or something to complete, maybe even less. It's like a minute and a half, and you get a lot of access to codebreaker drops as well as mods and reactors. I know people don't value reactors as much, but when you're trying to min-max, reactors actually kind of make a difference. And with the previous Valby run location, you actually have 2 really good reactor locations built into this. You also get some decent Kuiper shards, which at this point you really shouldn't be farming for Kuiper shards specifically. I think you should farm for other things, and then Kuiper shards come with it, and this is kind of one of those locations that kind of complement that, especially since you can salvage a good amount of mods that you get. Ultimately, when it comes to looking for code breakers, this is the location I go to that works really well for me. Finally, when it comes to the XP, we're back in the fortress, and I'm going to give you a bit of a double whammy for this one. And this is going to be the Bunny Cave farm within the Fallen Ark location. You can take the Fallen Ark tactical transporter and come here to this Void Fragment mission, and you will very likely find a bunny kind of just chilling here, jumping up and down, where you can get a pretty good amount of XP. Obviously, this is going to be very accessible to every player since every player has bunny, and so this is going to be a more general location that is very mind-numbing, but for XP as well as weapon XP is by far the best location that you should be aiming to go for if you want to do it. For the other location, this one is going to be the hardest because it does require a friend. If you somehow can manage getting a friend, you can level from level 1 to 40 in less than like 13 minutes or something. I think my buddy Augustine has a video out right now where he shows the pretty much the whole setup for you to pretty much be able to level from 1 to 40 really quickly. All this requires is for you to go to the Moonlight Lake, have it on private, and have a friend with you. Have your friend leave the party after you guys get here and pretty much take the lakeside mission. You'll come basically to the Void Fragment here with a non-attribute character, and then have your friend basically kill the enemies that spawn within this area while you abort the mission and continuously refresh it. It's way more entertaining in my opinion than just watching a bunny jump around for 45 minutes, and it is a great option if you do have a friend. I'll have Augustine's video linked down in the description if you want to see an in-depth setup so you can do it perfectly right. But if you do have a friend, this is going to be by far the best way to level, and it's not even close. And there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for this updated farm everything type guide I'm doing. Once again, I kind of want to give you guys a update probably about once a month so you guys are up to date on what's the fastest way to get things done. And if I miss anything that, you know, could be better, faster, or you just want to add something to it, feel free to leave it down in the comments and I can give you a shout out if it is something that I miss, or even better if you want something like that, because ultimately this is going to be helping the community. Don't forget to follow me over on Twitch as well as YouTube. I live stream just short of every single day. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one very soon.